Hello?
Hello, Jughead. This is Archie. Come over right away. It's a matter of life or death.
Oh, relax, Archie.
Attention, all true believers. Marvel Comics is on the air.
A friend of the unfortunate, enemy of criminals. In reality, Dan Garrett, a rookie patrolman, loved by everyone but suspected by none of being the Blue Beetle.
Boys and girls, your attention, please. Presenting a new exciting radio program featuring the thrilling adventures of an amazing and incredible personality.
Faster than an airplane, more powerful than a locomotive, impervious to bullets.
Up in the sky, look!
It's a bird, it's a plane, it's Superman!
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Happy Friday, everyone. It's me, Mathias, here with Order Up, the Final Order Cutoff show. It is a small week of Final Order Cutoff this week, so we're going to talk a little bit about that, why that is, and the handful of things that are on Final Order Cutoff this Monday, which is going to be comics that we are finalizing orders for December 30th. But we'll talk about that. We'll talk about some other exciting new things. But before that, you got to know what the show is. So let's take it away with the intro. Hi everyone, I'm Mathias Lewis, and I'm here to talk to you about FOC, or Final Order Cutoff. It is the last chance that we, the comic retailers, have to finalize our orders for comics releasing roughly 3 to 6 weeks out from the Mondays we finalize our orders. We deal with this every Monday, but this is important to you, the consumer, because it is the perfect time to reach out to your local comic shop if you want any specific or guaranteed items. If you want the Jim Lee or Dan Mora covers of Justice League Unlimited, reach out to your local comic shop and let us know. If you want the new issue of Lilo and Stitch, this is the perfect time to tell us. Because as long as you can get us the orders before Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, that will give your local comic shop retailer enough time to finalize that order, adding in whatever it is you want, so they can guarantee when it releases, we have a copy set aside waiting for you. So, always reach out to your local comic shop before 6 p.m. on Mondays with the comics you want. The sooner, the better, to guarantee they're waiting for you. So that's that fun reminder of what Final Order Cutoff is. But as I was telling a staff member today, as I am actually filming live in a comic shop today, Final Order Cutoff really is designed for the publishers and the printers, not so much the retailers and the consumers. It is a useful tool for all of us to get whatever we want. But sometimes, like this week, you're not going to find a lot of comics on Final Order Cutoff because the big publishers like DC and Marvel, they're taking the holidays off. Unfortunately, we don't always get that opportunity. So while now and then you will see skip weeks on Final Order Cutoff, they're few and far between, and there's still always a little bit of cool things, as we'll go over momentarily. Now, one of the big reasons, though, I also always have that video at the intro of this show, is because we want to stress it is always worth reaching out to your local comic shop, your local comic retailer, and letting them know as soon as you know about something cool that you want it so they can order it in advance. And Kyle and I will actually be discussing some really cool books that will be coming out in 2025 that you can tell your retailer really far in advance so you can express your interest and guarantee they're waiting for you. I mean, I think you have a few exciting books in 2025 that you're already setting up to tell your local comic shop about, right, Kyle?
Yeah, no, I absolutely do. I've got a couple that we're going to talk about later, but there's some that are already on my pull list that when I heard about them this year, I immediately called my LCS to be like, look, I don't know when it comes out. I don't know what distributor it's with. Just get it. I trust you to work, like when it's ready. And then when covers come out or whatever, I will, make my adjustments. But these are books that I'm going to be getting regardless of any of that.
Yeah. I mean, there's some exciting stuff. I mean, we haven't even hit 2025 yet, and there's some exciting stuff that's already on the horizon.
Well, and I'm looking at books for March and April already. Like FOC for the new year, we're talking 3 to 6 weeks, but some of these publishers have their solicits out for initial orders for March and April already. So I'm starting to get some of those notes together so that way when it comes time to FOC, I've got even further notes about what I'm, Yeah,
previews catalog for March releases of all the big publishers is out today.
Mm-hmm. Right, that's what I'm saying. So I'm already kind of planning that stuff out, here 3 and 4 months ahead of time. Head hurt, man. Thinking about, there's a book that Jimmy Palmiotti is working on that comes out in March that I have to wait until March to get.
Is that a Pop Kill?
It is.
Oh, I'm excited about that. Yeah, that's going to be a good one.
I may or may not have already read it, but
yeah,
that's the other benefit. And this is something I don't know how much of a consumer knows. Like some publishers make PDFs accessible to retailers so that by the time they get to Final Order Cutoff, they may have read the book so that they can talk to you about what the book is to get you to order it. So like Pop Kill is one of those that I've already got the PDF for, so I've already read.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see that one. Beautiful, beautiful covers already in solicitations. It's going to be a fun one. It's going to definitely be a fun one. But let's dive in really quickly to what is on FOC this Monday, December 30th. Now, traditionally, we would shoot you to 2 different websites, previewsworld.com/finalordersdue and Lunar Distribution. But as we said, DC, they're a big company. They know how to take a holiday off. I wish the rest of us did. So there will be nothing on Lunar Distribution you need to worry about on FOC this week that you can't already see as a consumer at previewsworld.com/finalordersdue. So that's the link I'm going to send your way because realistically, Boom is the big publisher pushing FOC this week with a little bit of Dark Horse, some Udon, and other publishers. Now, let's start at Boom because Boom has some big ones I'm really excited about, actually. Aside from getting the incredible Tom King Animal Pound, which is the spiritual successor of Animal Farm, a hardcover at just $30 is on FOC this week. That's an exciting one. But the big ones are the trade paperbacks. Hello Darkness, Volume 1. Now, 2024 was the year of horror anthologies, it feels like. Every publisher seemed to have a horror anthology, from DC and Marvel to every indie publisher. We see the return of EC Comics after 63 years of no new books, of no new stories. EC returned with multiple horror anthologies. But one of my absolute favorites has been Boom Studios' Little Book That Could, Hello Darkness. It is a haunting collective of horror anthologies, pinups, one-shots, continuing series. You get Something is Killing the Children tales in there. You get a brand new horrifying series by Garth Ennis and Becky Cloonan called War. It is amazing. And we're going to have the entire first year's worth of stories, well, first 6 months, in a $20 trade paperback that is on FOC this week. I'm excited because on top of that, Hello Darkness number 7 is also on FOC this week. So if you haven't read any Hello Darkness, you can dive in, get it all in a trade paperback, and dive directly into issue 7 by reaching out to your local comic shop right now. There are some stunning covers on issue number 7 of Hello Darkness, including Jenny Frisson, Miguel Mercado. There is an amazing, amazing Gabriel Rodriguez cover. Everything about this series is amazing. Inhyuk Lee even did a stunning cover on there. So get the trade paperback on order if you like horror at all. If you haven't already read this, even if you have, that's the copy you can hand to friends and share with them. The trade paperback on FOC and issue number 7. Other big ones from Boom, Jim Henson's Labyrinth. It's issue number 5 with 2 amazing covers. Anything with Sir Didymus grabs my attention. I don't know if there is a Labyrinth character that is more loved by Kyle, but I think Sir Didymus is top tier.
I am a not labyrinthian.
Oh, okay.
My Henson tends to be green with ping pong balls for eyes.
All right. You prefer those that start at Sesame Street and muppet their way up to Manhattan.
Correct. Cookie.
All right. So we obviously have those. The other big one I want to stress, though, on Boom's FOC is Uncanny Valley by good friend Tony Fleeks and Dave Watcher. This is a really, really cool story that vaguely reminds me of Roger Rabbit, that classic movie that blended reality and live action with animation. Uncanny Valley tells the story of a young man who discovers his grandfather was a cartoon character and what that entails and affects his life as the world of animation and video games and all of those things merge into his reality. And it has been a brilliant, brilliant opening storyline. The second story arc is about to start in 2025. So if you haven't already read it, Uncanny Valley is a great trade paperback to grab. It is from the same gentleman who has brought us Stray Dogs, Feral, Wolverine, Blood Hunt, and countless other masterpieces. So you know you're going to be getting that A-list quality. I mean, he even was nominated for Eisner's with his unbelievable image series, Local Man. So have you had a chance to read Uncanny Valley yet, Kyle?
So many of the characters in the book are 1 degree removed from the characters you'd recognize from Looney Tunes or Hanna-Barbera. The story being 1 degree off from Looney Tunes and Hanna-Barbera or 1 degree off from reality makes it really, really interesting to let these artists play. And I've really enjoyed it. I think Tony's storytelling has been particularly strong, but I think the art style, flipping between ultra cartoony and semi-realistic, really plays well in Uncanny Valley as well.
Yeah, Dave is a master artist with that. And it's crazy watching him pump that stuff out because he switches styles like nothing.
Yeah, no, I got to watch him do it in person at a convention this year where he also did a Ninja Turtles for me. So to watch him code switch, as it were, between the 3 things back to back to back to back was super fun.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's really quickly wrap up the last of FOC this week. Dark Horse, of course, is pushing out a few new Star Wars issues. Issue 14, A High Republic Adventures, and the very last part of Dispatches from the Occlusion Zone. For you High Republic fans, that's a big one. But the huge one we have to talk about as far as indie publishers go is Udon. Udon, was one of the absolute art house publishers of the early 2000s. They worked with a lot of great video game properties and manga, and I am ecstatic that they are bringing back Street Fighter in 2025 with Street Fighter Prime. And the big one is going to be the prelude, Street Fighter Prime #0, that is going to launch all of this. There are some absolutely stunning covers. That C cover by Tovio Rogers featuring Chun-Li is like nothing else. But I'm ecstatic to see how Street Fighter will be relaunched with comics. Udon has always treated the property incredibly. So this will be a fun one. It'll be really, really nice to see these things come back in. Kyle, are you a Street Fighter fan?
I'm a Tekken guy.
Okay.
So here's the thing about Street Fighter, right? I have a friend who, if you're in the Street Fighter community, you know his actual name. But he is one of the top Street Fighter players in the world, which makes it not fun. When you're playing against a guy who literally has been on television playing Street Fighter, and you're like, I like to go to the arcade and play fighter games. It's different. So like we have to play like Tekken or DC Injustice to level the playing field. But growing up, I loved Street Fighter. I played a ton of Street Fighter. when I was real young. And then, like I said, I had friends who ruined it, so I moved on. But like, I love the Street Fighter comics. It's great to develop the mythos around these characters that don't have a ton of mythos anyway, right? Like, the game doesn't give you a ton of backstory on, why Ken is the way Ken is, but the comics do. And I think that is an important part of the storytelling of these fighting games.
And I think that's the part that makes it so amazing. Like, I was always a Mortal Kombat fan, but I never really, got into the lore on the fighting games. I'm like, wow, aesthetically, I like this character, and I like that he can freeze people or do this. And it was one of my friends, got me to start reading Street Fighter, and I could have cared less about the character of Cammy until I started reading her story, and I'm like, wow, this is an awesome and interesting character.
Right. No, and again, there are so many pop culture properties out there that have not gotten the mythos they deserve, right? Firefly is a prime example, right? One season, and then it was over, and then the movie, and then it was over. Well, that universe has been vastly expanded because of the comic books.
Yes.
Street Fighter is another one. Kingdom Hearts is another one. There are so many of these things where we love the storytelling of the game or of this taste we get from the original intent, that when that ends and they come to comic books, we really get to have our appetites fulfilled by the comic books. I'll remember the first time I realized that this was popular was after Dollhouse got canceled. And Dark Horse was publishing the Dollhouse comics, and they were so good. So that's kind of an example of why I think books like Street Fighter are so important and so good, is that I don't really care about, Ryu or whatever, but now I've got a good story and it makes me want to play him in the game.
Yeah. And I mean, a $5 entry point on these things, I think is going to be well worth it. Easy. You can grab it. You like it or you don't like it, from that point, and you can let your retailer know, hey, I want to continue on, or the 0 issue was enough. One last one we have to give a shout out just because we had a special guest last week. We had the incredible Joel Elad of Magma Comics. His Rome Eternal issue number 2 is on FOC this week with 2 great covers, including a Maria Laura Sinapo cover that is very, very Romanesque. On that note, though, let's talk about some fun for 2025. I mean, everyone should definitely take a look at previewsworld.com/finalordersdue. See everything that's available on FOC. Reach out to your local retailer before 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Monday, December 30th, with a list of anything you want. And know that we'll come back next Friday with a full show of all the comics on FOC when we return to normality. But let's talk a little bit about what we can see in the next year.
Yeah, I mean, I've got there's a few, especially from smaller publishers, that I'm big excited for. And people who know me and who watch the experience know that I'm a big Mad Cave fan. And so there are 2 that are happening right here in March, actually, that I'm already looking at that I wanted to mention, which is Pop Kill, which we already kind of talked about, which is Jimmy Palmiotti and is it Philip Kennedy Johnson?
I don't believe so. I can't remember off the top of my head now.
I can't remember off the top of my head either.
Yeah.
So I'm opening it and I will look. But Pop Kill is a world where 2 dominant and competing cola companies, each worth billions, are owned by former Siamese twins. And now they're separated and they have grown to hate each other so much, they hire assassins, saboteurs, and espionage people to meddle in each other's companies on a daily basis.
I mean, it sounds like real pop industry.
Right. It is the Cola Wars. It's why Billy Joel sang about them in We Didn't Start the Fire. So, that's a bad joke. That's an interesting take on this book. But it's an interesting concept. And also for Mad Cave, I'm going to throw out Crush Depth, which comes out in March as well, which is 2 brothers locked in a sibling rivalry for command of a massive underwater nuclear submarine. And the kind of chaos that a sibling rivalry in a bottle episode can cause with storytelling, right? Like, if you can't leave the submarine, there's only so many places you can go, only so many places you can hide, and only so much damage you can do before you kill everyone. So that one is excited for Mad Cave. And then my last book, we talked about 2, but I grabbed a third because this is the kind of person I am on these things. Is We're Taking Everyone Down With Us, which is a March release as well. It's in Previews World from Image Comics, Matt Rosenberg. After her mad scientist father is killed by the world's greatest, Annalise is left all alone in the world, sort of. Her dead dad's robot bodyguard is following her around for some reason. Now Annalise has a choice to lead a normal life for the first time ever or seek revenge and maybe overthrow the world order in the process. Look, violent Baymax is something I'm here for.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's a pitch point right there. Yeah.
Right. So, those are 3 books that I'm already looking at now at the end of December for March release that I'm looking forward to in the new year. And then Jason Aaron continuing on Turtles. And, there's a bunch of other stuff that I don't know how much is public, how much isn't public, how much is, that we've heard about from publishers that, it's not in previews yet necessarily that's coming.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff to be looking forward to, and it makes FOC more important than ever. It makes initial orders more important, I think. At every opportunity to tell your comic shop when you want to buy something, that you want to buy it, is super important. And so because we're getting more information further out on some level from some publishers, it gives us an opportunity to move a little bit more swiftly.
Yes. And that's one of those things where it always helps, as we said, to reach out to your local comic shop as soon as you have this information. You don't have to wait until Monday to get the FOC order in. The second you finish listening to us on Fridays, you can reach out to your local comic shop. You can look in advance. If you get a chance, go by your local comic shop or, go to previewsworld.com. Look through the previews of comics that are coming out upwards of months in advance sometimes and be happy to, reach out and say, hey, I really, really want to grab the new issue of Space Ghost when that comes out on that date, or any of those other wonderful, wonderful titles. I'm always going to be one who pushes indie on this show, so you're going to get that from me every Friday. So my big 2 that I wanted to talk about coming out in 25 are going to be big 2 ones. So first off, we've been waiting over 20 years, the sequel to Jim Lee and Jeff Loeb's infamous Batman run, Hush. Hush 2 hit stores in March with Batman 158. In fact, I guarantee you the week leading into March, because it's a March 3rd FOC, we will be talking about Batman 158, its mini covers and everything. But I know that's a big one. And if you want to read the sequel to Hush, Jim Lee and Jeff Loeb back on Batman together, Jim Lee interior pages, reach out to your local comic shop and let them know you want to grab that Hush storyline. It's going to start in Batman 158. I believe it's going to run through 165, 164, something like that. Yeah. Your local comic shop probably has a more knowledgeable person than me there that will have that answer for you.
I just wish Jeff was around for it.
Yeah. But on top of that, the other one I want to say, so we got a big DC one coming. There's a lot coming from Marvel. Obviously, One World Under Doom. Don't get me wrong. I will bow down before that Latvian emperor, that sorcerer supreme of the mystical mayhem that is Victor. But the one that I'm excited about, we know very little about. And this is all the reason to talk to a local comic shop. Jonathan Hickman has announced he is doing a big Marvel event this summer called Imperial. What that is, we do not know. Literally, we have 2 taglines. It is the end of the beginning, and that nature abhors a vacuum. Could it be the Imperial Guard, like the Shi'ar Royal Imperial Guard? Could this be a new Annihilation level event in the cosmic Marvel stature? The return of the Guardians of the Galaxy, maybe even the Black Order that Jonathan Hickman put together and has led to big theatrical debuts in the MCU. I don't know. Your local comic shop might not know, but your local comic shop will be happy to take a pre-order for this series because we know this one has potential to sell big. I don't think there's a Jonathan Hickman Marvel book in the past few years that hasn't blown up, sold out, went to multiple printings, and people haven't wished they would have gotten those orders in earlier on.
It's true. So, I have my own fan theories, but I don't know what Jonathan Hickman owns of Jonathan Hickman's indie work. and what publishers own of Jonathan Hickman's indie work. But I would love to see in this book Jonathan Hickman bring some of his work from his days prior to going back to Marvel, when he was doing some creator-owned or some indie stuff. Start to see some of those wild characters from those days cross over into the Marvel universe. Could be very interesting. Could be one of those where you get Angela in a Spawn book that then winds up a Marvel character. So you never know with Jonathan Hickman.
Yeah. And I mean, just his one shot recently, which pitted Victor Von Doom against Galactus in a far-flung future. Amazing run. So
absolutely.
And who knows? It could, maybe it could even tie into his Ultimate Universe he is, leading the show, basically show running on. But
possible.
Big fun stuff in 2025. And if you tune in every Friday here on The Experience for Order Up, the Final Order Cutoff show, we'll be talking about them before we have to finalize our orders as retailers, so you consumers can reach out to your local comic shop and get your orders in and guarantee you get these awesome tales, these beautiful covers, these brilliant interiors, and more waiting for you at your local comic shop, while supporting the businesses you love and the industry you adore reading from.
Absolutely. So, guys, I think we're going to wrap up from there, but tune in for all the other shows here on The Experience this week. Coming up later today, we've got Nick's art show, The Original Art Experience, which I don't know what he's got cooking, but he's got something cooking because the notes are really weird. Then, yeah, they're really strange, even for Nikki. So who knows?
Could you even possibly talk Jay Lee? Ooh. Well, I know what I'm doing at 4 p.m.
Yeah. Then after him is Comics Unlimited, Nancy McCann, Friday Night Live. Next week, we do have holidays Tuesday, Wednesday. So our scheduling, our program will be a little bit different Tuesday, Wednesday. We'll be watching our social media, and we will keep you all up to date. We were going to do a giveaway on this episode, but since this is a pre-record, we can't. So the giveaways that I announced on last week's episode, go back and watch last week's episode, will be on next week's episode when we're back live. But this gives you another opportunity to enter. So share this stream and comment, and we will add you to the draw for those giveaways next week.
And next week we'll return with a full Final Order Cutoff. All sorts of books from all the publishers. We'll have a special guest once again. And who knows, maybe I might add to that incredible giveaway with something really cool too. I think I happen to have something for that.
All right, guys. We will see you next time here on Order Up.
Yeah, thank you guys for watching. See you next. And don't forget, watch Nikki's show in a few hours.
Join the party. Head over to our link tree to find all the links for everywhere The Experience is all the time.